Narcissism is often seen as simply a selfish, egotistical trait, but Carl Jung's psychological theories give us a deeper insight into the behavior of narcissists. According to Jung, narcissists are not simply self-absorbed. They are driven by shadow self-projections. Jung believed that every person has a shadow, the unconscious part of our personality that contains all the traits we repress or deny, often because we see them as negative. The shadow holds our darkest desires, our suppressed fears, and aspects of ourselves we don't want to acknowledge. For narcissists, this shadow is particularly intense. Instead of facing their own weaknesses, they create an inflated self-image to protect themselves from confronting their true feelings of inferiority, shame, and fear of rejection. The grandiose mask they wear, the ideal version of themselves, hides this underlying fragility. How narcissists use the shadow. Narcissists live in constant fear of being exposed as flawed or weak. To prevent this, they create a facade of superiority. They project their shadow onto others, often accusing others of their own shortcomings or making others feel insecure. Narcissism isn't always easy to spot because narcissists tend to be very charismatic at first. The initial signs can be subtle, but they often include exaggerated sense of self-importance. Narcissists often inflate their accomplishments or talents, expecting others to recognize them as superior. Lack of empathy. They struggle to genuinely connect with others' feelings, and they might only pretend to care if it benefits them. Entitlement. They believe they are deserving of special treatment or resources without earning it. Gaslighting. They distort reality, making you doubt your own perceptions or feelings. Narcissists are constantly battling against their fragile ego. While they project confidence and dominance, deep down, they fear rejection and inferiority. This ego-defensive behavior is what makes them toxic to others. By inflating their self-worth to unnatural proportions, they attempt to hide their deep-seated self-doubt. Narcissists don't just passively exist in relationships. They actively manipulate and control those around them. They do this through sophisticated psychological tactics that are often imperceptible. At first, narcissists are expert manipulators of emotions. They know how to press your emotional buttons to get what they want. They often use the following techniques. Guilt tripping. Narcissists will make you feel responsible for their actions, or they'll try to make you feel guilty for wanting your own needs to be met. Love bombing. At the beginning of relationships, narcissists often overwhelm you with affection, attention, and validation. They create an illusion of idealization so that you begin to depend on their approval, playing the victim. If things go wrong, narcissists will shift the blame onto you. They'll make you feel like the problem is your fault and use your emotional vulnerabilities to keep you locked into their control. Gaslighting is one of the most destructive tactics narcissists use. This is a form of psychological manipulation where they distort reality in such a way that you begin to doubt your own perceptions and sanity. They might insist that an event never happened or tell you that you're misremembering facts. Over time, you start to question your reality, and the narcissist's grip on you becomes stronger. Imagine you confront a narcissist about a lie they told. They deny it, insist you're overreacting, and accuse you of being overly sensitive. Over time, you start doubting your memory of events, making it easier for them to maintain control. Another powerful tool narcissists use is projection. This is a defense mechanism where they accuse you of the very things they are guilty of. For example, if a narcissist is being manipulative, They might accuse you of being manipulative. This creates confusion and shifts the blame onto you, making it harder for you to confront them about their behavior. In the early stages of a relationship with a narcissist, you may feel special. Narcissists are often incredibly charismatic and charming. They're great at making you feel like you're the most important person in their world. This seduction phase is critical for them to lock you in. They use Jung's theory of projection to create an idealized version of themselves and to make you feel like you are their soulmate. The narcissist mirrors your desires and needs, making you feel understood and desired. However, this is all a manipulation strategy. The narcissist projects their ideal self much onto you, essentially making you feel like you're the perfect match. However, they're not truly connecting with you as you are. They're connecting with an idealized image out of you that fits their fantasy. This is what keeps you locked into their world of illusions. Eventually, as the narcissist feels secure in their control over you, they start to devalue. They stop mirroring your needs and start to dismiss or ignore your emotions, criticisms, or concerns. The charming facade fades away, and you begin to see their true nature. The key to escaping narcissistic manipulation is detachment. Narcissists rely on emotional attachment to maintain their control. If you learn how to detach from the narcissist emotionally, you break their hold. Carl Jung's concept of individuation is the process of becoming whole by integrating the different parts of our personality, including the shadow. To detach from a narcissist, you must first reconnect with your authentic self. When you stop depending on the narcissist's validation and start trusting your own inner value, you become immune to their tactics. Individuation. This process helps you understand your true self and your inherent worth, independent of the narcissist's approval. Once you begin to detach emotionally, you must learn to set boundaries. Narcissists do not respect personal boundaries, so you must be firm in maintaining them. Setting boundaries with a narcissist is critical for protecting your mental health. Boundaries should be clear and consistent. For example, if a narcissist tries to gaslight you or manipulate your emotions, you need to clearly express that their behavior is unacceptable and that you won't tolerate it. Ending a relationship with a narcissist is often the hardest part. Narcissists are relentless when it comes to keeping their victims under control, and they often use guilt, threats, or even violence to keep you in the relationship. The no contact rule is one of the most effective ways to break free from a narcissist. It means completely cutting off all communication and limiting any further emotional exchange. Narcissists thrive on attention. No attention, it means they lose control. When you stop responding to the narcissist's attempts to regain control, they realize they no longer have any influence over you. This is often when they escalate their attempts to manipulate or even threaten you, but you must remain strong. After cutting off a narcissist, expect them to react with rage. They might try to shame you, guilt trip you, or smear your reputation. Do not engage. Narcissists will continue to try to pull you back into their web, but you must hold firm. Once you've freed yourself from a narcissist's grip, the next step is learning how to set boundaries with future relationships. Narcissists are like predators. Once they've tasted emotional weakness, they'll keep searching for victims. You must learn to recognize early signs of narcissistic behavior in potential partners, friends, or colleagues. Setting clear emotional boundaries will help protect you from being manipulated again. Trust your instincts. Narcissists rely on the fact that you often doubt your intuition. If something feels off about a relationship or interaction, trust that feeling and act accordingly. In the end, narcissists are simply people with deep insecurities who use manipulation and control to maintain their illusions of power. But the truth is, you can take back control. By understanding their tactics, detaching emotionally, and setting boundaries, you can reclaim your power by applying Jung's theories of individuation, shadow work. You become more aware of your own strengths and more resilient to external manipulation. The key is learning how to protect yourself, keep your emotional distance, and keep your true self intact.